There is the tradition that 99% of home sellers just follow because, well, isn't that what we do? As a realtor, I really don't see the benefit. On the contrary, I see it as a bad idea. On the surface, it might not seem to have drawbacks. Most would probably even think it's a good idea. It's the home inspection contingency part of a sales contract. This is one of the first things done after attorney review is over and the contract is now binding. It is also an expense that the buyer pays for. The buyers schedule the home inspection as soon as possible, which is usually several days out, and they try to schedule all the inspection services at the same time, which is just about impossible. Depending on the age and the location of the house, a septic inspection, lead-based paint, well equipment, sewer lines, underground tank sweep, wood-destroying insects, fireplace level 1, 2, or 3 will be separate inspections. If there's a pool, then a pool and pool equipment inspection must be scheduled. If it's covered, then it has to be open for an inspection. A buyer will not pass on the pool inspection just because it is covered. Their attorney will be adamant about that. While both sellers and buyers are waiting anxiously for all this to take place, do know about 2 or 3 weeks have gone by since you agreed upon a sales price and closing date. Your house is off the market. The buyers have stopped looking at houses. They have to give notice to either a landlord or the buyers of their home a firm move-out date. You as a seller have to give notice to wherever it is you're moving to a date you will take possession. Typically, those dates are the same that was agreed to in the sales contract. If that date was the usual 60 to 90 days from signing the contract, a lot of time has gone by. You tell me, is this a good time to find out the septic failed? The electric is faulty? There's evidence of lead-based paint, asbestos, and structural questions that need further evaluation. A new furnace or boiler is needed. The property is sloped towards versus away from the house. The deck is unsafe. The air conditioner unit is not properly installed on a concrete slab. The gutters are no longer functioning properly and need to be replaced. The front steps are out of code and deemed unsafe. The electric wires from the pole at the street to the house are frayed and a fire hazard. There are upgrades made to the house and permits can't be found at the township, or the permit was never closed out. Now that needs to be scheduled. There is a black substance on the roof sheathing that might be mold and water stains on the chimney in the attic. When was the last time you tried to get a contractor or company to come out to your house and give you an estimate for a repair? Yeah, they didn't come out the next day, did they? Is this the best time to try and find a reputable company or shop by the best price? Or are you stuck with whoever you can get out to the house the quickest? Now the buyer's attorney notifies your attorney about renegotiating the sales price due to the issue. And they're not going to authorize the appraisal because if these issues aren't taken care of, why pay for an appraisal? You as a seller have very little control now. A defect is now known and must be disclosed to the next buyer, or you can live in the house with a defect and your heirs will be stuck fixing it. The buyer's lender and homeowner insurance company might balk at some of these issues too. Plus, the buyer's attorney can voice his or her opinion against their client proceeding with the offer and suggest cancellation. Why is all this happening at the worst time? Number one, sellers do not think of this. They assume the house is fine. Number two, they don't want to spend about $1,000 or so to do these inspections ahead of listing the house for sale. How does this make any sense? Is it better to find out about expensive, time-consuming defects 4 to 6 weeks before you move out and try to deal with them? Of course, your replacement home will be canceled. You have to unpack and restage the house and start showing it again. Why? To save $1,500? The proactive approach would be the way to go. What if you had a home inspection done beforehand and made the repairs? In the eyes of the buyer, that makes your house less scary and more valuable. It could very well be your $1,500 spent will have a great monetary return besides reducing the potential fall through 30 days after signing a contract. Think about it. I have a real home inspection report you can get right now to read through. Use it as a guide and walk through your house with it in hand. Compare each item of your house to the report and do a kind of pre-inspection on your own. Leave a comment below as to whether you think paying for a home inspection before listing the house is a good idea. I would be interested in everybody's opinion from both the buyer and the seller side of the transaction.